everyone, Mama Mike here, and today is a quick video. This is my Xbox One games collection, so let's get right into it. These games are in no particular order, I just took them off the shelf and put them in piles. Starting off with Metro Redux. This includes Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Both of these are remastered for the Xbox One. So far I have been working on Metro 2033. I have not started the newer game yet. I'll say that while I'm having fun with it, it's a lot scarier than I had anticipated, and certain parts of the game did not age as well as I would have hoped. Parts that involve you following AI or relying on the AI to complete an action so you can move forward and progress, those parts have been really buggy for me, often including me restarting the checkpoint or even the whole chapter just to get back to that point and hope that it works. But overall, the story of the game I really like, and I do look forward to finishing it and starting the next one. Next we have got Gears of War 4, which came in the steelbook with the nice slipcover here. I really did like this game. The campaign of it was phenomenal. I liked the new characters a lot. I'll say that my main disappointment with this game was the Horde mode. I have a lot of gripes with the Horde mode. I didn't love all the new additions, but I tried to power through it and play it anyways. But I would get to wave 48 and be kicked off the server when I was just playing local co-op with a friend. We'd try again, we play pretty far through getting into Horde and get kicked off the server again. I just didn't really like that feature at all. If I'm playing local couch co-op, I don't want to have to worry about getting kicked offline when I'm 48 waves into the 50 waves of Horde. So otherwise, this game really holds up well. I liked it a lot. I loved the multiplayer and the campaign, but the Horde mode was a big disappointment for me. Next, we have got Watchdogs, a game that I really liked and that no one else really seemed to, but I fell in love with the character of Aiden Pierce. I thought that he was great. I liked that the story was sad, that it was angry, that it was heavy. Those are things that I really enjoy in video games because they're not very common, and that's part of why I love the Batman Arkham games, because they're dark and heavy stories. Aiden Pierce, a lot of people didn't like him very much, but I played the game for what it was. I thoroughly enjoyed the hacking and the combat, and I truly did like the story that Aiden Pierce led us through. Next, this is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I got the Steelbook edition of this game. This is one of the last Call of Duties that I truly enjoyed, that I went back to and kept playing. Now I am really into Call of Duty World War II, but this game was the last sort of Call of Duty of the past few years that I really got into, that really had its hooks in me, and I just loved the exosuit zombie mode. That is something I still go back and play from time to time. For me, this was the last great futuristic Call of Duty that I really got into and that held my attention for a long time. Next, this is Recore. This is a game that I was really excited for. I loved the concept of it. Everything I saw about this game, I said I want to play that. Unfortunately, when the game came out, there were a lot of bugs and glitches. Those things have since been fixed, and I do recommend this game. It's a fun little game to play, but when I played it, it was a bit of a disappointment, all the problems that were in the game. And while I think that the concept of it is still very innovative, I think it is a lot of fun to play. What I remember of the game, unfortunately, is sort of clouded by the glitches and all the problems that I had the first time I tried to play it. Next up is This Is the Police, a game that I really think should have gotten more attention. I highly recommend this game. It is a lot of fun. It is very strategy heavy. You are a police chief. Your day-to-day involves taking in calls. You have to determine whether or not a call for help is true or not. It could just be a false alarm. You have to determine how many officers to send out on a call. If you don't send enough, it could be very dangerous, and officers who die in the line of duty do not come back. They could also be injured and in the hospital. And of course, if you send out too many officers for a simple job, you still have to wait for them to get back to the station before you can send them out on another job. There's a lot of strategy involved in this game. What really took me by surprise was the story. I did not expect this game to have such a rich, dark, and heavy story. It really impressed me. It took me by surprise in a way that I couldn't believe as I was playing the game. First off, how well it was acted. The voice acting is superb in this game. I was just absolutely bewitched by it as I'm watching the story unfold. And then the story itself just really motivated me to continue through this game, where it was really difficult and some of the strategy, was like, oh gosh, I have to really think about this and how to allocate my resources. And this is a game that you can lose. If you don't do your job well enough, you could end up sued, out of money, in jail. You really do have to play this game carefully and with a lot of strategy in mind. I highly recommend it. As sort of a cross comparison, if you like the Fire Emblem games, if you like strategy like that, I highly recommend this game. And if you're not crazy about those games, but you're willing to try it for a great story, I'll tell you the story is worth it. Next we have got Injustice 2. This was the Steelbook edition. I am not good at fighting games, I always say that right off the bat, but I love the campaigns, and I especially love watching tournaments. I adore watching the professionals play these games, and Injustice 2, it's so much fun to watch all my favorite heroes and villains go against each other. And if you love fighting games, or if you want to try one out, Injustice 2, for me, is a great way to play because it's all your favorite characters from DC, and I just have so much fun watching heroes and villains go against each other. Next up, this is Okami HD, a game that I got for Christmas and that I have not yet started, but that I really cannot wait to do so. The art and story of this game are what really drew me in, that it's based on traditional Japanese folklore, and I'm just so excited to play this game on new hardware. I am so happy that it was brought to the newer consoles so that I can enjoy this game without having to go back and play it on my older, slower consoles. Next, this is Far Cry Primal, a game that really is an experience to play. If you love the Far Cry games, I highly recommend it. If you're not crazy about those games, it is very different from those games in a lot of ways. Primarily, the fact that the spoken language you don't really understand, that everything is subtitled, you feel just so out of your element while you play that game, and I do think that it's a really fun experience. It's relatively short compared to other Far Cry games, so I do recommend it if those games maybe seem unmanageable to you, if they seem like they're too long of an experience. This is a shorter experience while still having the hunting and combat elements from Far Cry games that we know and love, while injecting something completely new and different into the formula. Next up is the Rare Replay 30-hit games, one epic collection. If you are a fan of games developed by Rare, you should definitely pick up this collection, both their older games and newer games like Viva Pinata. It's just a convenient, easy way to play 30 of their games, and to play them on Xbox One is phenomenal. Next up, this is Overwatch Origins Edition. I had a lot of fun with this game when it came out. I played it for months. I did take a break from it because I was getting frustrated with the amount of changes that were happening. It felt almost constant that I'd go to play and something about my favorite hero had changed and I'd have to relearn how to play them. Now that I've waited a few months, I've been kind of keeping an eye on the updates and patches. It seems like my favorite characters, Symmetra and Roadhog, have balanced out at least for the most part and aren't receiving as many changes as of late. So I'd like to get back into this game and hopefully not have to relearn how to play my character week to week. If you're looking for something different in terms of online multiplayer, I highly recommend Overwatch. It's bright and colorful. The modes that you play are so different from anything else that I've played online. I do highly recommend this game. My only sort of con is the amount of changes that happen to the characters. I understand that balancing is very important, much like the fighting games that I love to watch tournament play of. Those characters change a lot. But I do feel like for someone like myself with maybe not as much time to devote to an online game, the changes can make it difficult for me to get the most out of my playtime. Next, this is Batman, the Telltale series. This is a game that really just blew me away. If you are a Batman fan, I recommend this game 100%. Even if you don't like the Telltale games, I really recommend giving this one a try. It is an experience like no other. I did an impressions video of this game if you want more in-depth information about it, but the crux of this game is that you need to make decisions whether you play a certain segment as Batman or as Bruce Wayne. How you play that out vastly changes the game, changes the scenario, and you really do feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders as you decide, do I handle this as Batman or do I handle this as Bruce Wayne? The story that they tell here, it is dark, heavy, it is gripping, it will have you on the edge of your seat waiting just to play the next episode. I binged through this so quickly and I loved every second of it. Next, this is Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy. This is the Steelbook edition. It came with an art book as well. This is just a phenomenal pack to get if you love the Ultimate Ninja Storm games. It's a great way to play them now, playing them all on the newer consoles. They look great, they play great. If you are a fan of those games, I highly recommend getting the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy. Next up is a game that is just, I can't even recommend it enough. This is Overcooked, a chaotic couch co-op cooking game for 1 to 4 players. If you love couch co-op games, you have got to try Overcooked. It is just fun. It is fun on a bun. It really just is one of those games that is friendly for everyone. You can invite anybody over and play this game. You'll be yelling, "Where's my soups?" You'll be laughing and shouting. It's just chaotic is the perfect word for it. Fun. It's colorful. There's a lot of variety in the challenges that you get. This is a game that really motivated me to continue playing, continue improving my skills, and it's fun while you do so. I just cannot recommend this game enough. Next up, this is Batman Return to Arkham. Be the Batman in the greatest superhero games ever made, Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. I had to get this collection, of course, those being some of my favorite games ever, especially Arkham Asylum. That's my favorite Arkham game. If you didn't play these games, this is the best way to play them, bringing them to the newer consoles. Or if you're a fan of those games and you'd like to replay them but don't want to play on your old console or maybe don't own it anymore, this collection is a must-get. Up next, this is Final Fantasy 15 Day 1 Edition. This is the one that had the reversible artwork, which was really cool. This is a game that I liked, but I did not love. And the problems that I had with the game were the same as many other people out there about the ending, and I know those things have been fixed, that they have been patches and things have been added to the game. I am highly anticipating replaying this game starting from scratch with a fresh playthrough to see it all the way through again, but with completely, new expectations, with new eyes. I do recommend this game. The scale of the enemies is just really something. The world that you inhabit is breathtaking. I liked the characters a lot and their dynamic, their friendship, their sort of rivalry that you could detect. And the story it told, while sometimes a little bit confusing, I did enjoy. I just want to play through the game though, fresh, starting from scratch, and hopefully I'll like it even more the next time around. Next up, this is Star Wars Battlefront Deluxe Edition. If you're looking for something different to play online, the Star Wars Battlefront games are really something. You don't even have to be a Star Wars fan to enjoy these games. They're fresh and fun and just something different in the multiplayer shooter family. Next up, we have got Quantum Break. I thoroughly enjoyed this game for what it was. There are things about this game, though, that I was not thrilled with. I did an impression impressions video when the game was a lot newer, and I talked about those cons that I had. Essentially, what I didn't like about the game, for the most part, was that to get more out of the story, you had to watch the accompanying TV show, which I just thought was cheesy and weird, and I wasn't into it. And there were also just some other problems that I had with the game, but for what it was, I enjoyed it. I liked the story that they told within the game, as I said, without the extra content. I liked the story that they told, I liked the characters that we met and that I played as. I liked the mechanics of controlling time, and I thought that this game had some really awesome weapons that handled well, that felt powerful. Overall, I highly recommend this game. It's not the greatest Xbox exclusive ever made, but it's definitely worth giving a try if you have an Xbox One. Next, we have got The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I'm going to gloss over this only because right after that is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, which includes all additional adventures. You get the 2 expansion packs, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, and you'll also get 16 DLCs. If you know my channel, you know I cannot recommend The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt highly enough. It is one of the greatest games I've ever played. Once I played this game, it quickly made it into my favorite games of all time. I just absolutely love these characters and this world that they've created. It prompted me to go and buy The Witcher 2 for Xbox 360 because I had never played any of those games before. I bought this game because it was on sale after the Video Game Awards, and I'd wanted to try it, but I was unsure if I'd really get into a game like this. And once I saw it, I loved it. Once I started, crafting potions and wielding magic, I thought, I absolutely love this. This game inspired me to try other games that had sorcery and things like that in it, and now I can't get enough of those games, and this one started it for me. The story of this game is phenomenal, top-notch, can't be beat. And I just loved the world that we inhabited when we played this game. The different places that you go, the people you meet, and of course the expansion passes. Phenomenal, simply wonderful. If you've never played The Witcher, you don't have to play them all to enjoy this game. I promise you that. You can start here and enjoy it. If you've played The Witcher 3 but have not yet played the expansion packs, I highly recommend them. These stories are top notch. The gameplay, of course, is what you know and love from The Witcher 3, but they add all new locales, all new places to explore. Next up is Destiny, a game that I loved for the campaign. I know that's rare, not a lot of people say that about this game. While I had fun with the multiplayer, the campaign was my favorite part of this game. I really did enjoy the story that it told, the gameplay that was in it. I loved the weapons in this game. They felt powerful and new and fresh. I really enjoyed this game for what it was, and the campaign it held my attention. I thought it was something different and innovative. I wasn't thrilled with the online, but that's probably because I'm really more of a Call of Duty player when it comes to online games, and this to me was more reminiscent of maybe a Halo style game, so that's probably why it wasn't quite for me, but the campaign, that was really something else. Next up, this is Batman, the Telltale series, The Enemy Within. This is the second season of the Batman story that Telltale has created. And as I mentioned with the other one, if you love Batman, even if you're not crazy about the Telltale games, I really do recommend these. Next up, this is Bioshock, the collection. It includes Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite, all remastered for the new consoles. They look incredible. I was really stunned with how fantastic those games looked. What inspired me to get this was that I loved Bioshock Infinite. I had actually never played Bioshock 1 and 2. They looked a little too scary for me, but when this collection was announced, I thought, this is my chance to play those games on a newer console so I can enjoy those games without being held back by the older consoles, and I really do recommend this collection if you've never played the Bioshock games. They are definitely worth playing through. You'll really enjoy them, and if these are games that you've played in the past but you'd like to play again, I do think this is the best way to do so. Next up, this is Ryse Son of Rome. This was a day one edition for 2013 when the console released. Fight as a soldier, lead as a general, rise as a legend. The real kind of thing with this game was the look of it. This was one of the best looking games at the time. It was one of the best looking games I'd ever seen. While it's relatively short, the story it tells is good. I'm sure you can pick this game up wicked cheap, so if you have an Xbox One and never played this game, I do recommend giving it a try. It's a short experience, it looks really good, and the weapons that you play with, it's a lot of fun, stabbing people and kind of the fatality aspect of it. It's a lot of fun to play through. Next up, this is Little Nightmares, a game that I cannot say enough good things about, and I really do hope that more and more people try this game. I am not a fan of horror games, everyone knows that, but this one is just enough suspense, just enough creep that I can enjoy it, play through it, without having actual nightmares. This game has a great little story that I did have to kind of do a little bit of Googling to put all the pieces together in my head as to what was going on. But once you kind of figure it out, it's really a deep game. There's a lot to it, and just the world that they've created here, I really did enjoy going back and playing it more when I had the DLCs come out. Next up, this is Call of Duty World War II, a game that I think is fantastic all around. The campaign, the multiplayer, the zombies. While I have not yet finished the campaign, what I've played of it is awesome. The scope and the scale of the world that they've placed you in is just breathtaking. It is shocking, it's horrifying, it's World War II, and I really do just love this game. The multiplayer is one of my favorites that I've ever experienced. I think the maps, the guns, everything about this game is well-rounded and very well balanced, and I've just been having so much fun playing it. Next up, this is South Park: The Fractured But Whole. This is the Steelbook Gold Edition, and this one came with the Season Pass. You got South Park: The Stick of Truth, and it also came with the Tally bonus content and some postcards. I did an unboxing of this if you're interested in seeing everything that was included. This is a must-buy for any South Park fan. If you didn't play the first game, you can still very well play this one, or buy the edition that comes with the first game and play them both. But I highly recommend this game. It's a lot of fun. They added a lot of new things that weren't in the first one. This one is more of a strategy RPG with a grid system for moving your character around, and they've just added some new features and mechanics, all with a brand new story that I really loved playing through. It's a great game for any South Park fan. If you love that show, these games are really well done. Next up, this is Rise of the Tomb Raider. I love these new Tomb Raider games. I think they are phenomenal. The world that you're in, the enemies you face, the weapons that you have at your disposal, everything about this game has just enchanted me. I think the first one was my favorite in terms of story, but Rise of the Tomb Raider is a fantastic successor. This is the one too that has like that survival mode, which adds just a whole new thing to play. If you loved the Tomb Raider games of the past, these are phenomenal. They're vastly different, but they really hold true to Lara Croft just being a really cool lady. And if you've never played those games, these are just an awesome thing to pick up and try out. Next up, this is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I picked this up with the special edition that came with that wicked cool Goku figure. This is the one you can create your own character, and it's really neat to sort of make your own character, but they still just look so authentic to the Dragon Ball universe. They still look like something Akira Toriyama himself created. I love that aspect of it. It's a lot of fun to play through this game. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, I do really recommend the Xenoverse titles. Next up, this is Sunset Overdrive. This is the Day 1 edition. The best way to describe this game is over the top. It is fast-paced, it's cheesy at times, but it knows that it's being that way. It's action-packed, it's a lot of fun, it's bright and colorful and cheerful, while also being highly destructive. This is just a game, if you have an Xbox One and you have not yet played it, I do really recommend it. Next up, this is Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. I bought this, of course, before the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy came out, which includes, all the Ninja Storm titles. But I still wanted to keep this one for the collection. I love the Naruto games that much, and I love the show that much, that I didn't mind already owning it and purchasing the Legacy collection. Next up, we have got Grand Theft Auto 5. Fell in love with this game on 360. I remember going to the midnight release for that game and having so much fun waiting in line with friends. When they announced it for Xbox One, I traded in my 360 copy to get it and play through it all over again. And wow, what a game! The whole time I played it on 360, I thought, I can't believe that they made this for this console. I can't believe that we're able to play this game on Xbox 360, on PS3, and then playing it through on Xbox One, I thought, this is the best way to play it on the newer consoles. If you have not yet played this game, I definitely say give it a try. If you love Grand Theft Auto as much as I do, this one is a very worthy successor to the games of the past. Has a fantastic story, really awesome characters. The voice acting is some of the best I've ever heard. And if you're not a fan of Grand Theft Auto, or if you've never tried those games before, this is a great one to start out with. Next up, we have got Titanfall. This is a game I really did enjoy. I just wish that it was longer lived. I feel like it didn't get as big of an audience as it needed to survive online. And I also do feel like it was lacking in some ways. Not in the way of a campaign, because I was totally okay with it being an online-only game. But I did feel like for being online-only, they didn't give us nearly enough weapons to have this game have the longevity to stay fresh and relevant. It just didn't have enough content to keep me playing online without always having to use the same weapons over and over. I wanted something fresh to re-liven up this game. I was honestly hoping for some DLC that would add new weapons. And while I loved the game for what it was a rather short-lived experience when there were so many other games out there to play, and the online community really wasn't thriving. Next up, this is Borderlands The Handsome Collection. I'm a huge fan of the Borderlands games, so of course I had to pick this up. I am still holding out hope, though, that they'll do a remaster of the first game. That would just be the best news to me, because the first one is my favorite of the Borderlands games. Next up, this is Gears of War Ultimate Edition. This is the first game re-geared for a new generation. It's the original remastered in 1080p with 5 additional campaign chapters never released on the console. Playing this in anticipation of Gears of War 4 was awesome, and of course the multiplayer was great to sort of hold me over until that game came out. If you're a fan of Gears of War, this was a lot of fun to play, and remembering how the original looked and seeing this one was just crazy. And if you've never played the Gears of War series, this is a really great place to start. And lastly, we have got Battlefield 1. This is the Early Enlister Deluxe Edition, the complete all-out war experience. I was really excited for this game to come out, and while the multiplayer was perfect, in my opinion, I truly loved it. I wasn't thrilled with the style of the campaign. I think the stories that they told were great. I just wasn't very happy with the multiple perspectives and storylines. I would have really preferred just one character kind of going through the campaign. I think what they did though was really imaginative, really inventive. I'm glad that they did it that way because so many people enjoyed it. It just wasn't the campaign for me. So that was my Xbox One games collection. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite games are for the Xbox One, or if you have any of the same games as I do. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!